The latest Tesla 4680 battery update surprised many Tesla stock investors. Some are upset and some are happy. I think it's actually a good update. I'll break it down and explain exactly why. I love the limiting factor, but I know some of you would rather be out in the sun than watch a video explaining batteries and the anode and the cathode and the materials that go into batteries. What's the difference between LFP and nickel-based batteries? I know a lot of you are like, just tell me, is this good or is this bad? And that's all. So we'll do exactly that using some of the charts from Cleaner Watt. So this is where some people are disappointed. We had Model Y's standard range, the ones that don't go that far. A lot of people speculated earlier that because the weight between those two models is basically almost the same, but the range is very different, everyone was speculating that maybe, just maybe, Tesla software locked that extra range and will be selling that upgrade later over the air. And even Troy was expecting quite a bit from the first generation cells in 2022. And then, of course, improvements are expected to follow later. But looking at the density, it's not looking that good, at least when you first look at it. But then, if you start thinking about it, this is actually all right. You see, the range of current Teslas, I think, at least when we use our Tesla, it's fine. Most of the time, it's totally fine, especially if you just drive within the city, which is what most people do. If you go on a long road trip, then you wish, okay, maybe I wish the range was a little bit higher, but if you don't do that, it's perfectly fine. And the biggest issue that Tesla has right now is scaling the production. It's no longer the range of Tesla vehicles. It's about, can we get the most amount of batteries possible? We want everything that we can get, all of the batteries. And if you look at this chart here, this is what we were expecting earlier, or at least some of us. And you can see there's the cell level and then there's the pack level. Now, if you remember the 4680 batteries, one of the reasons why it's such a big deal is because it's going to be a structural battery pack, meaning the batteries, they protect you in a collision, whereas right now, you need to protect the batteries from the collision. See the difference? That's why we only really want to look at the pack level energy density. The cell level does not really matter. So even if 4680s, when we look at the cells, have a lower energy density than before, that is irrelevant if overall the whole pack, when we look at the pack weight, if that energy density is better for the whole pack, because there's a lot of things that go into the pack. It's not just the batteries. It's also things that protect your car in a crash. So this is the expectation from before, 260 to 296. Remember this number? And now the data from the Limiting Factor YouTube channel, who is doing a phenomenal job, by the way. He's amazing. This is the cell level energy density, and we don't know about the pack level yet, but obviously we compare previous expectations to what we now know is actually the case, and we know it's probably not going to be nowhere near as good at the pack level. It's probably not even going to beat our old 2170 cells. And then this chart right here is making some people even more upset, but I'll explain how that's not a bad thing. You see the 4680 batteries right here, they charge slower. Many people don't like that, right? The old generation technology charges faster. But again, here's what matters the most, and there's one more thing that matters even more than this. You look at the sizes of these battery cells. Which one do you think is going to be the easiest and the fastest to produce? The smaller ones or the bigger ones? Of course, the bigger ones. It's much easier. You just make one thing one time, basically, and boom, it's just much easier. We have to remember this is the first generation of 4680 batteries. The limiting factor YouTube channel estimates that if we just add silicon to 4680 batteries, it should already beat the 2170 battery technology. This shows nicely also the thickness of the cans. You can see the old batteries are super thin, but when you look at the can, and the new one is pretty thick because it has to be rigid during a crash because this can itself is protecting you in a crash. Tesla is going to use a tabless design which makes manufacturing faster. We all know how Elon Musk likes to remove parts, but it is expected that other companies will not be able to use this design, this tabless design, at least not yet. For some of us, this is a lesson to not celebrate too quickly. 4680 batteries, we expected them to have more energy density, but this is still, I would say, not that bad. I would say 4680 batteries provides us incredible savings when it comes to economics. Also, we have to remember that 2170s, this is not the first iteration of 2170. So 4680s are competing with older technology that had already multiple iterations. So I expect this to improve in the future as well. But in the meantime, manufacturing 4680s is going to be so much more easier than the old battery cells. And the tabless design, removing something that everyone thought maybe you have to have, is just so like Elon. Just like he laid off something like 50% of Twitter's employees, and the site just runs fine still, no problem. I wonder how much simpler can Elon and Tesla still make the batteries while still providing the same functionality, but making them much cheaper to produce. Even without the structural battery pack, Tesla vehicles are already by far the safest vehicles out there. Lately, the latest update here, highest overall score from in Europe among any vehicle tested under the current protocol. It's amazing what Tesla is able to achieve. I am buying Tesla stock with all of my spare cash. When we look at forward PE multiple for Tesla, and then when we look at forward revenue growth for Tesla, Tesla clearly stands out from most companies. You don't need to be a genius to figure that one out. And with many people worried about Elon being distracted, with Twitter thinking it will consume all of his time for eternity, worried about Tesla stock, this provides, yes, you know what I'm gonna say, another buying opportunity. If you watched today's earlier video, which if you haven't, you have to watch that one, Elon is really good at changing culture. And it's a very hard to do, but that just shows you exactly how Elon is doing it, and is attracting, can you believe this, previous competitors. Not only is Elon really effective and capable, but he's also really funny. I mean, really funny. If you haven't seen this, you're missing out. If you don't know the meaning of the meme, you can pause this next video frame for just a few moments to figure it out. Is it just me, or is Elon's sense of humor is improving over time? Like and subscribe. These are 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. My name is Matt Positz, reporting to you from Vancouver City, Canada. To help the channel, always click the like button in the beginning of a video. That will help the algorithm. Thank you so much for watching.